escapes from prison where he has been for 15 years. He breaks into a house to look for money and guns and finds a young couple in bed. He orders the guy out of bed and ties him to a chair. He ties the girl to the bed and he gets on top of her, kisses her neck, and then gets up and goes into the bathroom. While he's in there, the husband tells his wife, "Listen, this guy's an escaped convict. Look at his clothes. He probably spent lots of time in jail and hasn't seen a woman in years. I saw he kissed your neck. If he wants to make love, don't resist, don't complain, do whatever he tells you. Satisfy him no matter how much he nauseates you. This guy's probably very dangerous. If he gets angry, he'll kill us. Be strong, honey. I love you." His wife responds, "He wasn't kissing my neck. He was whispering in my ear. He told me he was queer. Thought you were cute and asked me if we had any Vaseline. I told him it was in the bathroom. Be strong, honey. I love you too." Little old lady was walking down the street, dragging 2 large plastic garbage bags behind her. One of the bags was ripped, and every once in a while a $20 bill fell out onto the sidewalk. Noticing this, a policeman stopped her and said, "Ma'am, there are $20 bills falling out of that bag." "Oh, really? Darn it," said the little old lady. "I better go back and see if I can find them." "Thanks for telling me, officer." "Well, now, not so fast," said the cop. "Where did you get all that money? You didn't steal it, did you?" "Oh, no," said the old lady. "You see, my backyard is right next to a golf course. A lot of golfers come and pee through a knothole in my fence right into my flower garden. It used to really tick me off. Kills the flowers, you know. Then I thought, why not make the best of it? So now I stand behind the fence by the knothole real quiet with my hedge clippers. Every time some guy sticks his thing through my fence, I surprise him, grab hold of it and say, 'Okay, buddy, give me $20 or off it comes.' Well, that seems only fair," said the cop, laughing. "Okay, good luck. Oh, by the way, what's in the other bag?" The old lady replied, "You see, officer, not everybody pays." A Mormon was seated next to an Irishman on a flight from London to the U.S. After the plane was airborne, drink orders were taken. The Irishman asked for a whiskey, which was promptly brought and placed before him. The flight attendant then asked the Mormon if he would like a drink. He replied in disgust, "I'd rather be savagely raped by a dozen whores than let liquor touch my lips." The Irishman then handed his drink back to the attendant and said, "Me too. I didn't know we had a choice." A Navy man walks into a bar, gives the bartender a conspiratorial wink, and says, "Quick, pour me a drink before the trouble starts." The bartender pours a drink and watches as the sailor downs it in one go. Then sailor slams the glass down on the bar and says, "Quick, give me another one before the trouble starts." The bartender pours another glass, and the sailor drinks it as quickly as he had the first. The sailor pauses, lets out a belch, and demands a third drink before the trouble starts. After several rounds of this, the bartender says, "Look, sailor, you've been talking about trouble for 10 minutes. Just when is this trouble going to start?" The sailor looks at the bartender and grins. "The trouble starts just as soon as you figure out that I don't have any money." A young boy says to his father, "Dad, our math teacher is asking to see you." "What happened?" The father asks. "Well, she asked me how much is 7 times 9. I answer 63. Then she asked, and 9 times 7? So I asked, what's the fucking difference? Indeed, what is the difference? Asked the father. Sure, I'll go. The next day, the boy comes home from school and says, "Dad, have you gone by the school?" "Not yet," answered the dad. "Well, when you do, come and see the gym teacher also." "Why?" asked the father. "Well, we had a gym class today, and he asked me to raise my left arm. I did it. Then my right arm, I also raised it. Then he asked me to lift my right leg, so I did. Now he says, lift your left leg, so I asked, what am I supposed to stand on my cock?" "Exactly," says the father. "All right, I come." The next day, the boy asked his father, "Did you go to the school?" "No, not yet." "Don't bother, I got expelled." Surprised, the father asked, "Why did you get expelled?" "Well, they summoned me to the principal's office, and sitting there were the math teacher, the gym teacher, and the art teacher." "The fuck was the art teacher doing there?" asked the father. Little Johnny replies, "That's what I said." 3 brothers aged 92, 94, and 96 lives in a house together. One night, the 96-year-old fills up a bath, puts his foot in and pauses. He yells down the stairs, "Was I getting in or out of the bath?" The 94-year-old yells back, "I don't know. I'll come up and see." He starts up the stairs and pauses. Then he yells, "Was I going up the stairs or coming down?" The 92-year-old is sitting at the kitchen table having coffee, listening to his brothers. He shakes his head and says, "I sure hope I never get that forgetful." He knocks on wood for good luck. He then yells, "I'll come up and help both of you as soon as I see who's at the door." An angel appears in a puff of smoke to a man and says to him, "Because you have lived a good and virtuous life, I can offer you a gift. You can be the most handsome man in the world, or you can have infinite wisdom, or you can have limitless wealth. Reflecting, the man says, I'll take the wisdom. Wisdom is yours, says the angel. Disappearing in another puff. The smoke is barely clear before the man thinks I should have taken the money. A farmer got pulled over by a state trooper for speeding, and the trooper started to lecture the farmer about his speed, and in general began to throw his weight around to try to make the farmer uncomfortable. Finally, the trooper got around to writing out the ticket, and as he was doing that, he kept swatting at some flies that were buzzing around his head. The farmer said, having some problems with circle flies there, are ya? The trooper stopped writing the ticket and said, well, yeah, if that's what they are. I never heard of circle flies. So the farmer says, well, circle flies are common on Farm City. They're called circle flies because they're almost always found circling around the back end of a horse. The trooper says, oh, and goes back to writing the ticket. Then after a minute, he stops and says, hey, wait a minute, are you trying to call me a horse's back end? The farmer says, oh, no, officer, I have too much respect for law enforcement and police officers to even think about calling you a horse's back end. The trooper says, well, that's a good thing, and goes back to writing the ticket. After a long pause, the farmer says, hard to fool them flies, though. Two well-dressed ladies happened to start up a conversation during the endless wait in the Brisbane airport terminal. The first lady was an arrogant Victorian married to a wealthy businessman. The second was a well-mannered elderly woman from Mount Isa, Queensland. After a little while, the Victorian woman started by saying, when my first child was born, my husband built a beautiful mansion for me. The lady from Mount Isa commented, well, isn't that fantastic? The first woman continued, when my second child was born, my husband bought me a beautiful Mercedes-Benz again. The lady from Mount Isa commented, well, isn't that fantastic? The first woman went on then, when my third child was born, my husband bought me this exquisite diamond bracelet. Yet again, the Mount Isa lady commented, well, isn't that fantastic? The first woman then asked, what did your husband buy for you when you had your first child? My husband sent me to charm school, declared the Mount Isa lady. Charm school. The first woman cried, what on earth could they teach you? A little girl runs up to her mother and says, Mommy, Daddy hanged himself in the basement. Upon hearing the news, the mother breaks down in tears and shakily makes her way into the basement. When they get there, the woman cannot see the father's corpse. The little girl then exclaims, April Fools, Daddy did it in the garage. A man has 3 girlfriends, but doesn't know which one to marry. So as a test, he gives each of them $5,000 to see how they spend them. The first girlfriend gives herself a complete makeover. She got a new hairstyle, new makeup, and a whole new wardrobe. When asked why she did this, she said, I wanted to make myself beautiful for you because I love you so much. The second girlfriend bought him a bunch of gifts, including a new set of golf clubs, an iPad, and an 80-inch flat-screen TV. When asked why she did this, she said, I bought these gifts for you because I love you so much. The third girlfriend took the money and invested it in the stock market. She doubled her investment, gave the $5 back to him, and reinvested the rest. When asked why, she said, I'm investing this money for our future together because I love you so much. The man thought long and hard about how each girlfriend spent the money, and after careful consideration, he married the one with the biggest tits.